今日咧同大家分享一個 chapter，Pride and Prejudice 一個 chapter， 咁睇下大家中唔中意啦。如果中意嘅話咧，咁我就繼續抽啲章節嚟同大家讀下，一齊解下。It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife。咁咧呢度 universally acknowledged 咧可能有啲陌生啊。咁其實咧英文就受少少拉丁文影響，咁佢啲 adjective 咧佢會有陣時會擺喺個 noun 後面嘅，係啦。咁但係咁樣講咧有啲模糊，咁咧你就當咧 truth 咧後面其實本身有 that is 嘅。It is a truth that is universally acknowledged。然後咧 that is 咧就可以刪走嘅 ，OK 係啦，咁啊刪走咗。個 truth 係咩咧 ？A single man who is in possession， 嗱有刪走咗啦，或者 that is，OK，that is in possession。In possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife, must want a wife. However little known the feelings or views of such a man may be on his first entering a neighborhood, this truth is so well fixed in the minds of the surrounding families that he is considered as the rightful property of someone or other of their daughters。 就係咧，無論咧呢個嘅個男人咧，個 man 咧 ，OK，a single man， 佢嘅睇法咧，同埋佢嘅感覺咧，就即使咧佢啲人唔係太知道都好咧，只要咧佢喺佢第一日入到去嗰個新嘅鄰舍嗰度咧，咁呢個係 truth，a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife。呢一個嘅 truth 咧，就其實咧都係好根深蒂固噶啦，喺嗰個鄰舍入邊係啦，即使嗰個男人點諗都好咧，呢個嘅 truth 已經好根深蒂固噶啦。However little known， 即係話咧，無論個男人嘅諗法同埋佢個感受係俾幾多人知道都好啦。OK， 個 truth 咧依舊都係喺度嘅。咁咧呢度個 that 咧係解以至於咁解，係啦，令到嗰個嘅 single man 係被認為咧一定係某個女嘅囊中物啊，係啦，一個財產。My dear Mr. Bennet, said his lady to him one day, have you heard that Netherfield Park is let at last? Mr. Bennet replied that he had not. But it is, for Mrs. Long has just been here, and she told me all about it. Mr. Bennet made no answer. Do not you want to know who has taken it? You want to tell me, and I have no objection to hearing it. 係啦，呢度咧 have no objection. I won't say no to it. OK， to 咧後面跟個 noun 嘅，咁所以咧佢個 verb 會變成 ing 咁樣，夾硬整咗一個 noun。This was invitation enough， 即係話咧，Mr. Bennet 講完呢句咧，Mrs. Bennet 咧佢就sense 到啊，咁即係你要我講啦，係啦，呢個係一個邀請嚟嘅。OK。Why, my dear, you must know. Mrs. Long says that Netherfield is taken by a young man of large fortune from the north of England. That he came down on Monday in一架馬車 chaise in a chaise and four， 你連住嘅 chaise and four 就係解有4隻馬嗰啲嘅馬車 to see the place, and was so much delighted with it that he agreed with Mr. Morris immediately， 就即刻同阿 Morris 簽約啦。That he is to take possession before Michaelmas 就係一個基督教嘅一個天使嘅生日嚟嘅，但係咧呢度佢個用法咧就係想用嚟講咧，因為呢一日咧9月29日咧 Michaelmas 咧係可以咁啱將一年分做四份嘅，係啦。咁喺呢一個年呢一個日期入去嗰陣時咧，咁就咁啱就係交到嗰一份租錢嘅啦，係啦，即係咁啱你係嗰日開始計嘅啦，可以係啦，咁啊計4次交租。And some of his servants are to be in the house by the end of next week. Are to be 咧，即係 are going to be。OK， What's his name? Bingley. Is he married or single? Oh, single, my dear, to be sure. A single man of large fortune. 5,000 or 4,000 a year. What a fine thing for girls. How so? How can it affect them? My dear Mr. Bennet, how can you be so tiresome? You must know that I'm thinking of his marrying one of them. His marrying. His my 可以加 verb 加 ing 嘅 ，OK， 即係好似個 noun 咁嘅啫。你可以當成 I'm thinking of his marriage with one of them，OK， his marriage with one of them. Is that his design in settling here？ 佢就話係咪佢目標咧 ？OK。係呢本書咧個印刷有啲問題啦，所以咧佢倒轉揭嘅頭幾頁。Design nonsense! How can you talk so? But it is very likely that he may fall in love with one of them, and therefore you must visit him as soon as he comes. I see no occasion for that. You and the girls may go, or you may send them by themselves, which perhaps would be still better, for as you are as handsome as any of them, Mr. Bingley may like you the best of the party. 係啦，佢話咧，如果你去咧，可能阿 Bingley 咧會愛上埋你添啊。My dear, you flatter me. I certainly have had my share of beauty, but I do not pretend to be anything extraordinary now. When a woman has 5 grown-up daughters, she ought to give off thinking of her own beauty. 我曾經都有靚過嘅 ，OK，my share of beauty， 即係喺美麗當中咧都佔一席嘅。In such cases, a woman has not often much beauty to think of。係啦，我都生咗5個細路啦，咁就冇乜諗自己嘅美貌啦。But my dear, you must indeed go and see Mr. Bingley when he comes into the neighborhood. It is more than I engage for, I assure you. But consider your daughters. Only think what an accomplishment it would be for one of them. Sir William and Lady Lucas are determined to go, merely on that account, for in general you know they visit no newcomers. Indeed, you must go, for it will be impossible for us to visit him if you do not. 就話咧，如果佢要呢度咧係有一個 historical fact 喺度，你要知一知，就係當時咧嗰個女生嘅家長個阿爸，女生個阿爸咧係要去揾嗰個男仔先嘅，嗰個男仔先至可以再約佢哋嘅。OK， 係啦，呢個係一個歷史嘅 fun fact 啊。Okay. It's more than I engage for， 即係比我諗嘅仲要多喎，係啦，比我諗嘅仲要多喎，咁樣去揾佢，係啦。You are over scrupulous, surely. I dare say Mr. Bingley will be very glad to see you. And I will send a few lines by you to ensure him of my hearty consent to his marrying whichever he chooses of the girls. though I must throw in a good word for my little Lizzie。就係咧，我咁講咧，如果你去依家個男人同個老婆講係啦，Bennett 同佢老婆講係啦，佢就話咧，我咁講啊，Bingley 咧佢見到你都會同樣咁開心噶啦。咁當然我都會叫你同佢講幾句話，我都贊成佢嘅婚事嘅。OK。係啦，呢個 choose 揀嗰個係啦 CHOSE， 但係咧因為古時咧佢哋嗰啲spelling 係有啲調轉嘅，譬如 WV 咧，即係 W 咧係會有兩個 V 嘅 ，OK，double V 啊嘛，所以係啦 double V 或者叫做 WU， 咁然後 U 咧有陣時會寫 O 啦，咁有陣時就調一調轉嘅，有啲字係啦，佢哋串嘅時候。I decide you will do no such thing. This is not a bit better than the others, and I'm sure she's not half so handsome as Jane, nor half so good humor as Lydia. But you are always giving her the preference. 偏心佢 ，OK。You always prefer her, okay? You always prefer her to others. There's none of them much to recommend them. 佢哋咧冇，即係佢玩其他嗰啲女啊，佢哋冇乜嘢可以 damn 咧，即係good humor 啦 ，handsome 啦呢啲咁嘅特質 ，handsome 解靚嘅咩？係啦 ，beautiful，good humor， 好脾氣嘅 ，friendly。They are all silly and ignorant like other girls, but Lizzie has something more of quickness than her sisters。佢就話咧，佢有種諗嘢比較敏捷啲嘅。OK。Mr. Bennet, how can you abuse your own children in such a way? You take delight in vexing me. You have no compassion on my poor nerves. 你咧簡直係以激嬲我為娛樂啊！你根本就冇同情一下我嘅感受啊！佢 nerves 係神經線啊，係啦，即係佢對佢嘅神經線係冇同情心啊，即係話佢唔係太 care 佢嘅心情。You mistake me, my dear. I have a high respect for your nerves. They are my old friends. I've heard you mention them with consideration this 20 years at least. I have heard you mention them with consideration. Okay? Consideration. Thinking. 即係我聽緊嘅時候咧，我都有諗下你嘅感受㗎。OK？喺呢20年入邊，好啦，最後啦。But I hope you will get over it and live to see many young men of 4,000 a year come into the neighborhood。佢就話咧，我諗你好快咧就會忘記呢件事㗎啦。然後咧你就會再每年咧就見到4,000個後生男仔喺呢個 neighborhood 呢個鄰舍入邊咧就進出咁樣嘅。之後老婆咧佢就話 It would be no use to us if 20 such should come since you will not visit them。即使有20個人出現都冇用啦，你都唔會去見佢哋嘅。點解呢度用 should 咧？呢個 should 咧就唔係咁。如果20個後生仔咧必然會出現咧，咁咧都係冇用嘅。咁咧你會發現咧，如果咁樣譯咧會有啲奇怪，講唔通。咁咧其實 should 呢度咧係解後面呢樣嘢係一定會發生嘅。OK， 即使20個男仔嚟咗，而呢件事咧係一定會發生都好咧，都係對我哋嚟講係冇用嘅，因為你唔會探佢哋啊嘛。OK， 你唔會探望下佢哋。Depend upon it, my dear, that when there are 20, I will visit them all。 Mr. Bernard was so odd, a mixture of quick parts. A mixture that is so odd. OK， 係啦，呢度有啲 inversion。A odd mixture, quick parts 即係風趣，係啦，轉數好快嘅，轉數好快，係啦。Sarcastic humour, reserve and caprice. That the experience of 23 years had been insufficient to make his wife understand his character. 咁咧23咧，佢哋會講成320嘅，係啦。咁呢個係舊史嘅英文入邊會咁講。Her mind was less difficult to develop. Develop 咧呢度解unfold 咁嘅，呢個係比較老少少嘅意思。就咩叫佢個腦比較易啲拆開咧？即係解易啲 understand。OK 係啦 ，was less difficult to understand。佢覺得咧 Mr. Bennet 咧係比較難明少少嘅。OK 係啦，有呢個 mixture of quick parts 諗嘢好快啦，又有一個諷刺人嘅風趣喺度啦，然後就比較係咯。Reserve caprice。咁咧，佢個老婆咧就係一個比較mean understanding， 諗嘢比較灰嘅 ，OK， 比較乞人憎嘅 ，OK， 佢又識好少嘢啫 ，little information 係啦。咁呢陣時 of 咧，你唔好當佢係的咁樣理解，如果唔係咧，你都有啲難明嘅。你當 belonging to 咁解 ，OK，belonging to mean understanding。Little information and a certain temper. When she was discontented, she fancied herself nervous. 係啦，佢覺得係焦慮嘅啫。佢當佢唔係太滿意、唔係太開心嘅時候咧，佢就覺得自己係有啲焦慮嘅啫。而佢個目標啊，佢人生入邊要做到嘅嘢咧，就係令到佢啲女可以結到婚啦。佢嘅安慰 ，OK， 佢嘅人生嘅慰藉咧，就係探望下人同埋一啲嘅新聞嘅啫。OK， His solace was visiting and news。OK， 好，咁咧呢個就係 Chapter 1。咁睇下大家中唔中意啦。如果中意我就繼續拍。OK， 咁我哋下集再見。咁同埋啦，我哋依家有散文班 ，This is for Slow Men， 然後哈利波特導讀。嚟緊我哋整緊呢個 How to Read 嘅一本電子書啦，咁就可以幫大家點樣如何攻陷呢啲嘅經典文學嘅山峰，係啦，咁就好，咁我哋下次再見。